All right, on today's video, we got a shop that sent back in a hydraulic flat tappet cam and lifters for warranty, and I'm 99% sure I didn't even make the cam. So hang loose, we're gonna get into it. All right, so two of these cams in question were sold like 8 months, 7, 8 months ago. And so one of them died supposedly at break-in, and we got it back yesterday or sometime in the last few days. So I started inspecting it, and I thought that it looked a little suspicious, but the lobes are wore pretty good, almost every one of them, so it's hard to tell in the cam doctor for sure. But the story was, crunk it up, broke it in, started ticking, went through the valves again, started ticking again, and they pulled it out. So come over here. So if you can see in the distributor gear, I mean, it's already eat up. So how do you eat a distributor gear up in 15 minutes? So that's like a red flag one. And you can see the taper, all the lobes had taper. There was no taper issue. And I hadn't checked the hardness yet, but I'm sure it's fine. All right, so I figured we'd splice this into the video for hardness testing, because I know if I don't test this stuff, hardness test it on camera, somebody in the comments is going to have something to say about it. So we're just going to go ahead and do it on camera. So just to make sure, this is the same camshaft. You can see the paint dot, the back's ground. I mean, this is the cam. So, and we'll check a couple of lobes just cause. All right. It takes it a minute. Yeah, so that's 40. Which is definitely on the low side. But again, I don't even believe this is our camshaft, but yeah, and that's 52 or 3. So more than likely, if I was a betting man, I'd say the reason that we seeing some soft is just from the heat. But we'll check a few more. And that's like 48. I'm gonna check one more. Oh! Yeah, and that's like 43, so I mean, it's definitely in the window, and these are obviously not the hardest cores anyway. These are the lifters, and we'll check a handful of them. Usually they're high 50s is what we normally see. Yep, so that's 55. We'll check a couple of them just to get a good average. Yeah, and that's actually 61. I'll check one more, just random, out of the box. Yeah, and that's like 50, almost 58. So, yep. So there ain't no problem with the lifters. Anyway, I didn't much figure they would be. We test all this stuff before we ship it. So I just wanted to put that in the video so that way everybody sees it at the same time. So back to the original video. One thing that really stuck out when I pulled it out of the box is if you see, it's got a little white paint dot and a pink stripe across it. That is, generally speaking, I see that on like Melon and Elgin, the cheap generic cams, because all of those cams come from, so they're all coming from one source and just being reboxed, because they all, Elgin, Melon, Machine-Powell, well, Machine-Powell don't anymore, but all of those companies all have the same exact grind. And I'm pretty sure that those cams are coming from EPC as finished products. So that's another issue. So this cam is on you can come in here, it's on an EP1 core, and you notice this, they always got this big bulge back here at the distributor gear. So in this cam, we done the first 2 batches in this core. And then after that, because we seen some problems, and it ain't just me, just about every dead flat tappet cam I see come in is on that EP1 core. So we went over to a camshaft machine core, which we used to use, but we had some trouble getting them, and somebody had some of these, so we bought some, and so that's how that come about. But since so this is the version 4 of this grind, and it's like a class legal cam. So version 1, 2, and 3 was ground on the EP1 core. Version 4 was ground on a camshaft machine core, and this is one of them. And if you can see that, you can see the difference at the back, and the width of the rear journal is slightly narrower on the camshaft machine core. Both cores were cast at CWC Textron. but this one was cast to EPC specs, and this one was cast to camshaft machine specs. So we have went to this core and have been having better success. So that is the red flag, and then the paint on the front is the red flag that I don't, and again, we can't really tell in the cam doctor because it's just wore so bad, but it appears from the data, and I've checked several lobes, and from the data we can come up with, it appears that the lobe separation is different than what we grind also. So the customer is wanting me to give him his money back for this cam and 2 sets of lifters. And he told me the other cam, they bought 2 at the same time, the other cam's in, running fine, and done freshened the motor one time, and the cam looked great. And you know, as everybody knows, this stuff is running batches. The cores are running batches. We grind them in batches. So, you know, if you got one bad, they're all going to be bad. And I tell everybody, and this is another reason why I just absolutely loathe this flat tappet crap, because everybody's got their hand out when there's some kind of issue. And I tell everybody, there's 2 things that I can control, and only 2 things. When these cams leave this building, I can guarantee the taper is correct and the hardness is correct. Outside of those 2 things, there is absolutely nothing I can do for you. I can't make it crank right. I can't break it in right. I can't make sure you got the right oil or spring pressure, or on and on and on. So I have no control over that stuff. So when a cam dies and people expect me to warranty it, it's just absolute insanity. I mean, there is so many variables. Why am I left holding the bag? That is the question. Why would I, unless you can find something wrong that I did, which you can't. I mean, there's nothing wrong. The taper's good, and I guarantee you the hardness is good. And on top of all that, I don't believe that this cam come from this building anyway. I just don't believe it. So, you know, I said something about the paint on the front, and they dropped it off out front, and you know, I said, man, there's the paint dot on the front. You know, that's what Mellon and they assured me no paint dot was on it when it was dropped off. You know, so I guess the camshaft fairies come by and, you know, opened it up and put some paint dots on it while we were sleeping. So, you know, that kind of stuff is just, the moral of the story is I'm not going to warranty a flat tappet cam. If it dies, it just dies. Everybody knows the story, and everybody knows that I don't care if you check every box, and you know, you can buy one from every cam manufacturer on the planet, and I'm telling you, you got about a 50% chance of success. And most people realize this, and it's not an issue, but this kind of junk right here is just one more reason why I just do not want to fool with flat tappet stuff anymore. And we got 2 class cams that we still do in bulk. I grind them in bulk. And I keep saying that I'm going to stop doing it, but we've had really good success and very few issues. But then when you run into something like this, and it just, you know, people want their money back for something that there's just no issue on my side anyway. So I thought that was interesting and something worth making a video about. But tell me what you would do in the comments. Would you give them their money back, or would you tell them to go pound sand? All right, we appreciate you watching. Check out the website, powellmachininc.com. We thank you. We'll see you on the next one.